Hello everyone, welcome back to Pavani Teachers. Today in this video, let's discuss GCD or HCF of two numbers. Okay. Firstly, I'll explain the logic part, then I'll go with the C++ program. Okay. Now, firstly you have to know what is GCD. GCD is nothing but greatest common factor. That means if we have two numbers, like num1 is equal to 6 and num2 equal to 8. Okay. Now, what is the greatest common factor these two will have? That means first we will write all the factors that both the numbers divides. Okay, I think 1 will divides the both, and then 2 will divides the both, and then 3 will not divides the both, 4 will not divides the both, 5 will not divides the both, 6 will not divides the both. So after crossing the smallest number of a given two numbers, we are not needed to check anything. Okay, so only these two numbers divides the both numbers. That means in this 2, which is the greatest common factor? That is 2. So 2 is the greatest common factor to the 6 and 8. I'll explain some another problem. Now I am taking the numbers as something like 3 and 5 or 15. Okay, here 1 divides the both, then 2 will not divide, 3, yes, 3 divides the both. That's it. We are not needed to check exceeding the smallest number, because 4 will never divides the 3. Okay, if suppose I take some other numbers like again 6, 24. Okay, or I'll take with 6, 16. Okay, now 2 divides the both, 1 divides the both, 3 will not, 4 no, 6 no, 7 no. Yeah, we are crossing the 6, so not needed to check. So 2 is the greatest factor of these two numbers. Okay, now I'll explain the logic part. First I'll go with the brute method. Okay, if suppose we are writing a for loop, the I should start from 1, because the common factor starts from 1. Okay, and this I should be less than or equal to minimum of a comma b. A comma b in the sense num1 and num2. Okay, and this I will be increased every time. Okay, then here if a modulo I equal to 0 and b modulo I equal to 0. Okay, if these two conditions is true, then we'll take before one variable, that is as GCD, and we'll store the value something in GCD. Okay, here GCD will become I. Okay, the loop continues until it reaches the minimum of a comma b. Now I'll explain the iteration part first. Okay, if suppose I take a and b as 2, 4. Okay, then up to 2 this for loop should get executed. First it will check with I. Yes, I is less than 2, 4. I is less than 2. Then it will go inside the for loop and will check this condition, that is as if 2 is modulo 1 equal to 0, yes it is, and also it will check with this one. If 4 is modulo 1 equal to 0, yes it is true. These two conditions are true, and here in between AND operation, that means if both are true, then it will go inside the for loop. Then it will store the I value in GCD. Okay, got it. Now again the for loop will get executed, because I will be incremented by 1. Now I will become 2. Okay, now yes, I is less than or equal to 2. Yes, condition satisfied. It will go inside the for loop, will check this condition, that is as if 2 modulo 2 equal to 0. Yes, and the next condition, that is as 4 modulo 2 equal to 0. Yes, it is also true. So it will go inside the if loop and replace the I value. Before it is 1, now it will become 2. I hope you got it. Then again this I will get incremented by 1. Now it will check this condition, that is as if 3 is less than or equal to 2. No, So it will come out of the for loop and print this GCD value. But it takes the time complexity of order of min of A comma B, which is little bit big when compared to other methods. Okay, now I will explain little more better way. Okay. I hope you all know about the Euclid algorithm. That is GCD of A comma B is equal to GCD of A minus B comma B. I'll take example and explain about this. Okay. Now I'm taking A value as 2 and B value as 4. Okay. Now let's just test whether this works or not. Now to find 2 and 4, what was the GCD before we got it? It was 2. Okay. Here there is condition applied. Here A should be greater than. So now I'll take A as 4 and B as 2. That's it. It works. Or else while using this you can just use some if conditions to change A and B values. Okay, but it's fine. Now if I am taking A as 4 and B as 2, I think we can work with this. Okay. GCD of 2 and 4 will be equal to 2. Now if we check this, GCD of 4 minus 2 comma 2, which is equal to GCD of 2 comma 2. What is the greatest common factor in this? It's absolutely 2. Okay, I hope this works. But even in this we have little trouble. What if two numbers are prime numbers? If I take A is as 13 and B is as some 11. Okay. GCD of 13 comma 11 is, as these two are prime numbers, we have no, it is 1 of greatest common factor. What is the value of 13 minus 11 and 11? It's 2 comma 11. What will be the common factor? It is 1. Yeah, it works. But even we have some other method which is little more better and takes the lesser complexity, time complexity while solving. That is GCD of A comma B equal to GCD of A modulo B comma B, where this A modulo B will become 0, then B will be the GCD. I'll explain how it works. Okay, a previous one takes little more complexity. If we take example as 20 and 40, what is the difference between these two? 40 minus 20 is 20 comma 20. While iterating for loop, it takes order of 20, which is bit long. Okay, that's why we will use this method to reduce the time complexity. I'll explain with one example whether this works or not. Okay, now again I'm taking example of, I'll explain with 2 or 3 examples, just have a patience. Okay, I'm taking A value as 13 again and B value as 11. Okay, we have already know it is GCD is 1, but if we are using the previous method like for loop and checking until 11 iterations, we'll get the answer. But To reduce the iterations, we'll use one method, that is directly we'll do operation that is as 13 modulo 11. We'll get 2. Okay. Now we'll replace this 2 to b value, and we'll replace this b value to the a. Okay, I hope you got it. And again we'll perform this method, this function, that is as 11 modulo 2, which is value of 1. Now we'll replace this one in b and 2 in a. Now while dividing, in between we have one process, that is while dividing 13 like b by a is, as before here I said, it's not a modulo b, it's a by b. So where a is greater than b here, but here I am taking b is greater than a. Okay, don't get confused. If this a by b by a equal to 0, we can just stop the process and directly write b value as GCD. Don't worry, now I'll explain little more better way by using code, and also I'll explain the iteration. Just have a look. Now I'll explain the coding part. Just have a look. First I will take GCD in two numbers, those are a and b. Okay, while writing the code here you have to mention int a and int b, but as now I am explaining just for getting idea. Okay, now after taking the a and b, we have to perform while loop, because as before I said, we have to check whether the value of b is equal to 0, is not equal to 0 or not. If it is equal to 0, we have to return the value of a. Okay, so now while b is not equal to 0, okay, instead, as I said, we have to replace the values of b and a after performing an operation, that is b is a modulo b. I'll explain. First I'll write the code, then just explain with the iteration part. Okay, temp b, and b will become a modulo b and a will become temp. Then if this condition is false, then it will return value a. Now I'll explain the iteration part by taking the example. If I take example a is equal to 6 and b equal to 2, okay, now it will check this condition, that is as if b is not equal to 0 or not. Yes, as b equal to 2, it is true, it will go inside the while loop and store this b value in temporary variable. Okay, then after storing the value of b, it will perform the operation, that is as b equal to a modulo, here a is 6, a modulo 2, which is equal to 0. Okay, 6 divided by 2 will give the remainder as 0. So now b value will become 0. So b value is replaced with 0, but previously b value as stored in temporary variable, don't forget it. Okay, now a will become temp, which is before's b value. I hope you got it. Okay, now value of a will become 2 and b is equal to 0. Now again it will check this condition, which is b is not equal to 0, but it is equal to 0. So it will come out of the while loop and return this a value, which is 2. So 2 is the highest common factor of given 6 and 2. Okay, now I'll explain with another example. Okay, I'll take the values as something like 12, 8. Okay, a will be 12 and b will be 8. Okay, now it will check this condition whether b is not equal to 0. Yes, it is not equal to 0. It will go inside the while loop and store this b value in the temporary variable. Okay, now it will changes the b value, that is as a modulo, which is 12, 12 modulo 8, which is 4. I hope you got it. After dividing the 12 with 8, what will be the remainder? It is 4. So now b value will become 4. Then a value will be replaced with temporary variable, which is 8. Okay. Now again it will check this while loop condition where b is not equal to 0. Yes, here the new value of b is not equal to 0. So it will go inside the while loop. Okay. Now again it will store this b value in temporary variable, which is equal, temp is equal to 4. Okay. Now we'll perform this operation to store the b value, next b value, which is a modulo. Here a is 8, 8 modulo 4, because the value of b here is 4, which will be equal to 0. 4 is exactly divisible by 8, so it will give remainder as 0. Okay. Now new value of b is equal to 0. Then again it will store the value of a, where temporary value is 4. Now a value will become 4. Okay. I hope we are done with b and a values. Now again it will check this while loop condition where b is not equal to 0. But no, it is false. Now here b is equal to 0. So it will come out of the while loop and return the value of a. I hope you are getting it, which is 4. So 4 is the highest common factor for given two numbers, 12 and 8. I hope, yeah. This is how the logic works. Now I'll explain the coding part. Yeah, now I'll explain the code line by line. Okay. GCD. First we have to include the header file, that is include IO stream. Okay. That is used for taking input and output. Okay. Now I'll write the main function at first. Main, and then I'll declare two variables, that those are num1 and num2. Then I'll give just the message to the user just to enter the numbers, then by using cin I'll take the numbers from the user. After taking the number, I'll directly write the print the output from the taking the from the function. Our function name is find GCD. Okay. Of, here we have to pass the numbers num1 and num2, num1 comma num2. Just before passing the numbers, I want to print the message also while printing the output. The GCD is okay. I hope we got it. And I'll use endline here. Okay, it's fine. And returning the 0 because we are using here int main. Int main. Now we are done with main function. Here we have to write the GCD, find GCD function. Find GCD. As we are passing two variables, two integers, here we have to take those. These are called parameterized function calling. Okay. In K and B. Here we can take the same variable names, but I'm just taking just to differentiate. Okay. Now after taking the variables as before I explained, here we have to write the while loop and check whether B is not equal to 0. Okay. Then inside the while we have to take a new variable, that is a temp, and store the value of b. And then after storing the value of b in the temp, we have to change the b value as a modulo b. And then we have to replace the a value with previous b value, which is already stored in temporary variable. Okay. I already explained the iteration part, just again go with it if we have doubt. And now after the while loop we have to print return a, return a. Okay. It will return the a value. Now I'll save this and execute this. Yeah, here we haven't used. Using namespace, std. Yeah, it is asking to enter the numbers. Here I'll just enter the number as 6 and 2. Yeah, we got the output that is says the GCD is 2. Okay, I hope you got it. Now I'll take another example. I'll take here now values as 12 and 8. Let's see whether it works or not. 12 and 8. Yeah, GCD is 4. The code is working. Okay, this is how GCD works. Just keep watching, stay updated. Many more yet to come. Okay, thank you for watching. Please do subscribe and share to your friends.